What's going on, everybody? We are back, and a big welcome back to all of you. This week, we are in Shanghai, and I'm ranking the fights that actually have a chance to be chaotic. The ones that can break open early, the ones that can get messy, the ones worth staying up for. This is the Chaos Index. Starting at number 5, Yan Xiaonan versus Denise Gomes, 6.5 rating. Pressure versus counterpower. Gomes wants to walk her down and make it ugly, and Yan's best when she can pick her shots. If this turns into a firefight, it can get real interesting real fast. Number 4, Jenkins versus Woodson at 7 rating. Length versus pressure. Woodson has that massive reach and wants to keep it at range. Jenkins has to close the distance and force the fight into his world. When those styles clash, things can explode. Number 3, Perez versus Sumudaerji at 7.5. This is pure who imposes their will first. Perez has to get inside that reach and wrestle, and Sue wants to keep him on the end of the punches, and whoever solves the range problem first probably takes over the fight. Number 2, Saruya versus Borjas at 8. Young Guns, Scramble City. Both of these guys are aggressive and have finishing tools. This one has that anything can happen in the first 5 minutes energy. And number 1. The number 1 must-watch fight this weekend is Arichi Lang versus Kai Asakura at an 8.5. This is the one I'm most interested in the whole card. Both of these guys bring real finishing power. Arichi Lang walks forward and throws volume. Asakura has that sharp timing and heavy hands. Neither one is built to play it safe. High chance this thing breaks open early and we don't see the later rounds. This is why I'm sitting it at the top of the Chaos Index this week. Those are the 5 fights that I'm watching closest in Shanghai. Drop a comment and tell me which one you're most excited for, and I'll see you in the next one. Now, this is the model versus the public for UFC Shanghai. I'm only looking at the fights where my model and the betting public disagree the most, the spots where the numbers are actually telling different stories. Let's get into it. Starting with the biggest gap on the card, Zhang Jingnan versus Julia Pilastri. The public has Pilastri as a big favorite, and my model has the other side at 55% for Zhang. That's a 23% gap, the largest disagreement this week. Experience and power on one side and pure volume on the other. Next up, Bilal Hassan versus Nilson Rojas. The public has Hassan a massive favorite, around 87%. My model only has him at 58%. Still on Hassan, but nowhere near as confident as the market. Sumudaerji versus Alex Perez. Public is sitting on Sumudaerji around 70%, and my model has him at 55%. Again, same side, just a clear difference in confidence. Lawrence Liu versus Hector Santiago. My model likes Liu at 65%. The public is higher on him at 75%. Again, same side, smaller edge than the market thinks. And finally, Umar versus Song. The public has Umar around 84%, and my model has him at 70%. Still a clear favorite, but the model doesn't see it quite the lock that the odds suggest. Now, those are the 5 spots where the model and public are the furthest apart. Now, let's look at a couple of the stats that I think actually decide the fights. Saruya versus Borjas. Saruya's takedown volume is elite, over 5 takedowns per 15 minutes, and he has real submission threat. Borjas, basically 0 wrestling output and absorbs a ton of damage. That wrestling gap is massive. Jenkins versus Woodson. Woodson's reach advantage is huge, 78 inches to 68 inches, and he throws more volume. Jenkins has better accuracy and a wrestling edge. This is pure range versus pressure. The community pick breakdown of the week is Asakura versus Arichi Lang. Asakura's striking defense and power versus Arichi Lang's high absorption rate. Arichi Lang walks forward and throws a lot, but he also eats a lot of damage. That efficiency difference is the key number for me. Leave a matchup in the comments to have a chance at being the next community pick. Now let's take a quick look at how these fights are most likely to end. For Woodson versus Jenkins, Woodson's primary path is keeping distance, stuffing takedowns, and winning on volume and reach. Jenkins has to close the gap and force wrestling or close range exchanges. For Zhang and Pilastri, Zhang's best path is using experience and power to either outpoint her or find a late finish. Pilastri wants to overwhelm with volume and force a chaotic fight. For Kai Asakura versus Arichi Lang, Asakura wants to time the entries and land clean power, and Irichi wants to force a war and turn it into a high volume scrap. Whoever wins the early exchanges probably takes this one. The biggest disagreement this week is Jingnang against the public. Drop a comment and tell me which one of these gaps you agree with and which one you think the model has wrong. And if you want a fight featured next week, leave it in the comments. Stick around after this for the full model picks, confidence ratings, and a little treat at the end. Hit that follow button, smash the sub if you haven't already, and drop a comment. It helps the algorithm push the video. I'll see you in the next one.
When the cage lights hit and the crowd goes wild, one channel stands tall with the data compiled.